Hey ladies, Courtney Flugner here, artist with Seint Beauty. In today's video, I'm going to show you the difference between contour and bronzer, and we're going to place our bronzer and show how we blend it out. So usually one of the main questions that I get when a customer gets their palette is, and if they've ordered bronzer, what is the difference between these two? Because most ladies will look at these colors and think they're both dark and they're both brown and they're both kind of scary. So let's talk about the difference between the two and where you can place them. This is my contour, and you can tell by looking that it is more of an ashy, cool brown color. This is more of my warm, glowy color. This is more of a warm brown. I'm gonna be using the blush and bronzer brush. You could also use the blend brush if you want something that has a little bit more smaller surface area for blending out. So if this big fluffy end kind of scares you, take a look at the blend brush. Okay, so for my bronzer, sometimes ladies will also ask, can I use bronzer in place of contour? Sure, there's no rules with makeup. Absolutely you can. If you want more of that just warm look to the skin, rather than having the shadows, then yes, you can use bronzer in the place of contour. But if you want this dimension and the lift and the natural shadows of kind of the ashy tone, the cool tone, I highly recommend doing your contour and then adding the bronzer to warm up the face with the contour. So I'm gonna show how I do that. You can apply it with a brush, you can apply it with your fingers. I'm gonna do it with my fingers today just to show you exactly where I place it. Mainly, we want our bronzer to be focused on the high points of the face where the sun would naturally kiss you if you were outside and you got some color. So I'm gonna focus it kind of right here through the center of the forehead. My contour is up here along my hairline, and then it is on kind of the underside of my cheekbone right here and jawline. My bronzer is gonna be placed more on the high points of the face. So the high of the cheekbone and just kind of right here through the forehead. So an easy way for ladies to kind of remember how to place bronzer. And again, this is super pigmented. You don't need a ton, guys. I'm gonna keep my bronzer on the high side, right? Here's that high point of my cheekbone again. I want you to imagine kind of a C or a backward C, whatever it is in the camera, kind of going around your brow into your upper cheekbone. This is definitely an easy way to remember how you can place your bronzer. And I'm just lightly tapping, guys. You don't have to do like hardcore stamps of the bronzer, okay? All right, I even have more on this side, I think, than this side, but that's okay. The creams are forgiving. Another thing about bronzer, it has lots of different functions, just like your contour. So if you want to deepen a lip color, if you want to completely change the tone of a lip color, put the bronzer on as a base first, then put your other lip color on top. You can mix and match, create new things. You can wear bronzer as a lip color in the fall. If you really like a brown lip, then go for it. You can also use Bella Bronzer as an eyeshadow. It is a gorgeous, warm, neutral brown for an eye look. It's just stunning. You can also use it to line your lips. You can use it as eyeliner underneath if you want. There's so many different things that you can do with our Bella Bronzer. Super versatile. Okay, so I'm gonna use the smaller side of my blush and bronzer. Technically, it's the blush side. You'll have to play with the makeup and see what you like best. You can also use the round side if you have your 3D brush, which is a popular beginner brush that ladies like to start out with. I'm gonna use this side because, and here's my main reason that I don't like this big fluffy side with bronzer. Most of the time, when I'm doing tutorials, I will already have my brows drawn on. These are completely drawn on because my brows are pencil thin. I feel like if I use this big fluffy side, sometimes it gets a little crazy and I start swirling my cream products into my brows. and I don't necessarily like the look of that. So this is why I like to use the smaller side of this to kind of buff out. So what I'm gonna start by doing is just like I did with my blush. I'm just going to kind of press in first to diffuse it. I'm keeping the placement of it. Okay, and once I have it kind of pushed into the skin, now I'm going to do some gentle buffing. So there's nothing that's harsh. There's no spots that are still harsh. We're just kind of lightly buffing it into the skin. You can see that the bristles are barely moving. That's how lightly I am kind of touching my face. Now look at the warmth that that brought to that side of my face. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. The contour. We didn't go over the top of the contour. Our contour is still here. We're just kind of placing a little bit of warmth with it. I'm using the other side of the brush to just lightly fan stuff out now. But look at the warmth that that just brought to my face. It is magical, especially in the winter. If you are feeling very pasty, use some Bella bronzer. You can also do a couple taps of bronzer down the neck. Let's say that you are in between your main highlights, okay? One highlight seems kind of too dark for you, the other seems kind of too light. You can kind of either mix and match those together, or you can take your lighter shade and add some Bella bronzer with it and just warm everything up. Warm your neck up. A lot of times the sun doesn't see this right here, right? We get shadows right here on our neck. A lot of the times ladies' necks will be much lighter than their face skin tone. So if you need some help with Bella bronzer to even you out, it's fantastic for that. So for this, I am going to use the fluffy side of the brush, and I'm just gonna start getting into those colors and just swirling them around. I'm not gonna press these in because I really want this color to disperse kind of everywhere on the neck. And now everything is just kind of tied in together. My neck will tone down here in a minute. It always just gets red on these videos. But there we go. Buff a little across the nose if you want that sun-kissed look on your nose as well. Questions about Bella? Put them in the comments. To me, Bella is life, guys. Like, you've got to have some bronzer in your palette. It is super versatile, kind of ties everything in and just gives that glowy, warm look. It's fantastic.